welcome to today's Advisor Today webinar. My name is Suzanne Carolyn. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Communications here at NAIFA, and we're excited to welcome Joe Templin to the webinar floor. Joe is part of our Coaches Circle. He's going to tell you a little bit more about that as well, but also a very proud and loyal NAIFA member. And since it is February and it is I Love NAIFA month, so thank you out there. If you are a member, thank you. We want to praise you and recognize you. If you're not a member, you're going to hear from Joe why you should absolutely join us, because just being in the presence, being able to rub elbows with people like Joe, just gets you fired up to go and do more of the good work out there for Main Street. So with no further ado, we're going to talk to Joe today, and he's going to tell us about why we need to love our business. So Joe, take it away.
Oh, and my system's not working great, so we're going to try and fix this. I apologize. Right there. Can people see my screen?
Yep, we can see it. We're still
okay.
So
like for some reason, my animations aren't working on this computer, but we're just going to, we're going to go through it, and you can actually glance ahead a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm Joe Templin. If you don't know me, the infamous Joe Templin. I have been a NAIFA member since my earliest days in the business, when my general agent, Diamond Jim Nemec, God rest his soul, handed me my college intern contract for Northwestern Mutual and my NALU contract back then and said, sign both or sign neither. I am the New York State membership chair. And just so everybody knows, I actually do not sell life insurance. Actually, I sell a ton of life insurance, but I don't write the policies. I don't sell it myself. I only have my insurance license so that I can serve NAIFA and go through the chairs. I actually write books. I train people. I teach people to be better. So I'm here to help you get better, to teach you how to serve your clients better, because that is ultimately the reflection of love, of loving yourself, loving this industry, loving NAIFA, and loving others is the service that you do for it. Muhammad Ali said decades ago that service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. And so keep that in mind. And before anybody asks, I could not print out my I Love NAIFA thing because of things, but I do have cool I Love socks on today, because everybody asks about my socks all the time. So you're probably saying, who the hell is this crazy dude? Okay. I used to be called the most interesting man in insurance for a reason. I am a #1 new release author of the book Everyday Excellence. It was #1 on Amazon. I'm actually writing the follow-up to that, which I'm not allowed to talk about, unfortunately. I'm also a top podcaster, the Human Kaizen podcast, which is all about resilience and getting better. I brought on some really cool people like NAIFA trustee Aprilyn Chavez-Geisler and Tom Hegna, and he talked all about some of the mistakes that they have made along the way and how they have recovered from it. So again, if you want some of the behind the scenes of how some of the most significant individuals in our industry have overcome adversity, I would suggest that you listen to that, because guess what? You're going to have adversity too. It's part of what we do. I'm an international martial arts champion. I'm a special needs father. That has actually informed and taught me more than basically anything else. I run ultra marathons. Oh, and I won the 4 under 40. So I think I've done a couple of things in the industry. And here's the thing. I want you to love your business. Oh, it's working now. Okay. This is the hardest career in the world. We work with people who don't want to talk to us, talking about stuff that they don't want to do, to then give us money that they want to spend on anything else, and have to hold on to it and deal with it. And then in the end, we're with them in the darkest, worst times. But that's exactly why you should love it, because we're there with them through the rough patches. We're there through the best parts of it. I get calls from kids. They're like, Joe, I don't know if you remember me. You worked with my mom and dad, and I just graduated college because of you. And they told me to call you and thank you. So this business, if you're not quitting every single day for the first couple of years, that means you're not living it hard enough, because love and hate are twin emotions. So there are going to be times when you hate this, but I want you to see why you should absolutely love being in financial services. So why don't you love this? Why should you hate this? Paperwork. I freaking hate paperwork, and every single one of you is probably saying the same damn thing. Even if it's on the computer at this point, so it's technically not paperwork, it still sucks. And oh, this was wrong, I gotta go back and get more. And they've had more and more disclosures. When I first entered the industry 25 years ago, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, and I had a rate book, yes, I'm proving my age here, literally a life insurance application was 8 pages long with 2 signatures. Now the disclosures to the disclosures are more than that. You kill entire forests just to be able to run a $500,000 term policy. It's insane. Commissions are in decline. Companies are cutting back, they're cutting benefits with the change in the definition of life insurance, with the actuarial age going out to 120 as opposed to 100. It's reducing the premiums and reducing the commissions. And guess what? There's lawsuits constantly because of bad actors. So, hey, people are breaking the laws. Let's pass more laws to make it even more difficult for the good guys. Oh, and we'll just pile it on and pile it on. And so they poison the well whenever a bad guy does something someplace, because the news spreads it everywhere and they fearmonger. And compliance is out of control. Period, case closed. Plus, there's a decline in training and standards. During COVID, I don't know how many people I saw grow the apocalypse beard. People would, stop wearing suits and ties. As you see, I'm in my uniform today. I am wearing a suit and tie. I insist upon it. And thank you to Lynn Bowser of Northwestern Mutual in Lake Norman, North Carolina. She allowed me to use her office. I came in and trained today, and I loved it. I walked in, every man had a suit and every woman had a blazer on, and they looked sharp and professional. So we've seen this decline in training and standards everywhere, where it's the training that the home offices are giving because they're cutting back in a recession, whether it's the decline in our personal standards of, you know what, I don't need to shave today, or you know what, I don't need to put on pants. I can just do a Zoom meeting and wear a tie. Okay, hold the line. So that's one of the reasons why you should hate this business or not exactly love it. Because clients will be in the same way, by the way. But why should you love your business? Write this down. And by the way, when I say write things down, I want you to write it. Don't type it on your computer. If you type it on your computer, you won't remember it. If you write it, you will. During COVID, LIMRA did a study, and 40% of Americans said they needed more life insurance. 40% of the people out there of the proper ages said, we want to buy your product. That is over 100 million Americans said, sell me life insurance. How many of you went out and sold 100 million policies? None of us. So there's still a huge opportunity. 20% of the people in the workforce own individual disability insurance. That means 80% don't. That's over 200 million people who should be buying disability insurance, by the way. Millennials, that age group, they want guaranteed income. I think you might have a product in your arsenal that gives guaranteed income. Unless they're going to go work for, as a teacher or for the government in some capacity and get a pension, only one place you can get that, through an annuity. Listen to Tom Hegna. Okay? And Zoomers, my kids' generation, they save more than any generation previously because they've lived through 2 recessions. They know this is going to happen. They're like, set aside money for a rainy day. Where's some good places to set it aside? I think we have some of those. And 75% of the boomers, the people turning 65 years old, are in need of long-term care. And we're going to experience the greatest wealth transfer ever over the next 25 years, $30+ trillion passing down from the silent generation, the greatest generation. 250 million Americans between the ages of 18 and 70, roughly. 200+ million of them want your products. Everybody is a client. It is the best time, target-rich environment. Why else love this business? There's less agents, less advisors per person. So that means there's more business for me to write. Well, I don't write the business, but there's more business for you to write. Everybody wants you, and there's nobody taking their orders. Technology leverage. When I first entered the business, I built a national level practice, and I was FedExing analyses all over the country. I had to do it by phone, so I couldn't interact with people and get all of the feedback from them. And oh, if there was a mistake, I had to FedEx another thing. My FedEx was $1,000 a month 20 years ago. Now we can get on the computer. Oh, I need to make a change. Boop, it's done automatically. It's instant. Oh, here's the update. Here's what that change to the portfolio looks like. Here's a change to the plan. Boom, you ready to do it? Here's your DocuSign. Bang, done. There's also greater awareness of financial education and need. We're now at 14 or 15 states that require financial education for people to graduate from high school. The reason why it's not all 50, I'm completely dumbfounded by, because that proves our education system's not about educating. But there is this crying need. With Secure Act 2.0, there were requirements on education stuff. People who put in 401ks, people are crying for this. There is so much demand for just good guidance, and everyone's like, oh, the robo-advisors. Yeah, that's going to help in some capacity. But you know what? Sitting there and asking the tough questions, saying, is that really the smartest move for your family? and you long range, and being able to be that friendly voice with experience. There's so much need for that. And there's a growing a profession. You know what? The average person in this business looks like me now, old and fat and gray. Well, not that fat, but I'm very gray, right? Average age is like 55 years old. So if you've got this 22-year-old who's coming into the business, they are ready to inherit all this stuff. This is awesome. You should love this. And if you're that 55-year-old advisor, you can still have 20 years of great production left. Find a young person to mentor. When they're 35, they basically take over, and you're still getting a share of the business for the next 15, 20 years while you're hanging out with your favorite clients. It is awesome. This is why I love the business. Okay, you should too. But our business is the business of love, real love. That, good looking dude all the way over to screen left, that's me, obviously. Guy all the way right, the fat kid, that's Spooky. You can see above Spooky's elbow, Rich and Stacy, that's Rich in the middle, my best friend. We went to RPI together, bunch of nerds. We're the dream team because we shared one brain between us. We weren't allowed to play Pictionary because literally we would draw one quick line and guess the answer. So one brain, three people. And at 42 years old, Rich died of leukemia. 5 kids. Youngest was 2 years old. The oldest had turned 13 the next day. We were sitting around after the funeral, hardest day of my life. Stacy, who by the way is a senior vice president for a major technology firm and makes over $1 million a year, even then, turned and looked at me and said, "Thank you, Joey." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You sat down with Rich and I when we were first out of college and got us to start doing financial planning. You got us to buy disability insurance, which you made us keep even when you switched companies and when you stopped, being a financial advisor. You made us buy life insurance. You made us review the life insurance even after you were out of the profession. You made us go sit down and buy more life insurance every time we had a kid, which was all the time, 5 kids, 5 boys. And you made sure that we were setting aside money for the kids' education, everything. The disability insurance paid the entire time Rich was in chemo. Life insurance is already in process. Kids are going to go to school. I have no financial worries. I only have to worry about my boys growing to be good young men. And that's your guys' jobs as the godfathers. That is real love. I continue to work in this business and advocate for it because there's people like Rich Kramer. That if one of you does not pick up the phone or send an email or do something to reach out to them, their family is going to be destitute. They're going to be devastated and destroyed because you didn't do your frickin' job. So real love can be tough love. It's doing what's right. There were times when we were first building our careers and, Rich would rather go out to the bar than to set the money aside in the life insurance. Hell, there were times I wanted to do that too, but we kept setting it aside. We kept doing the right thing. And real love wants to see the best version of you. Okay? Rich and Stacy pushed me to get my CFP when I didn't want to do it. They're the one, Stacy's the one who got me back into doing certain other things. We push each other because your real friend does not want to see you fat on the couch eating Cheetos, watching the Kardashians. They want to see the best possible version of you. Your friend wants to see you make core of the table. Your friend wants to see you succeed. Your friend wants the best for you, and you want that for your clients. And you know what? It's not easy. I would love to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos. Actually, I don't like Cheetos, but I would have donuts, and I had donuts this morning. Donuts, love donuts. Okay. But you know what? I get up and run and I'm doing the other things I need to do. And I rarely eat the donuts no matter how much I love them because it is the best thing for me and my future and for my kids. So that's what real love is about, is doing the right things for others. So if you don't pick up the phone to call others and help them, guess what? You're not showing that you really love them. And in the end, you advocate for the best version. When you sit there and say to the client, "Hey, you know what? That 2-year-old playing over there, he can't say it. He can't say, 'Hey, mom, I really think that you should buy this life insurance so that when you're in a car accident 6 months from now, I'm going to be okay and still go to college.'" That 2-year-old is not saying that. You have to advocate for them. And we advocate for our clients. And it's not just in terms of selling product. We advocate in Washington. I was down at the NLC and I went to Day on the Hill and I met with multiple congressmen and senators and their staffs talking about the benefits of life insurance, talking about how some of the things that they were trying to pass were not good things, and pushing on things that were good, like Secure Act and Secure Act 2.0, that are very good for our clients ultimately. So we're advocating for our clients in that capacity. We're doing it in the capitals. I'm sitting here in North Carolina today. These guys down here, if they're licensed to sell stuff in New York, they don't know what's going on in Albany. They don't know about 187. They don't know how to influence the legislation there that's going to impact them. But I do. I go on Day on the Hill and I talk to like Jim Tedesco, my buddy, and all those other elected officials and convince them to do the right thing for their clients. And so if you're not a NAIFA member, this is one of the reasons why you join NAIFA, is because you can't fly to Washington and talk to the people, I think it's in Spokane, about what they're trying to do with long-term care. You can't come to New York very easily because you don't have a relationship. You're not a voter in the district. I am. I can call them up. I can literally walk into Jim Tedesco's office because it's in the same office building. And we can do that. And so I'm looking out for your interests here. I'm advocating for you here. Hopefully you're going to join where you're located so you can advocate for other people there. And ultimately, we advocate for our clients to them, for the best version of them. And that could be, hey man, you should like maybe not have that second drink and then drive. It's that, hey man, you know what? Let's sign up for this 5K. So we train together, we get a little bit healthier. It's good for both of us. So everybody thinks about the products that we sell. What about the guidance that we give that prevents them from buying Bitcoin with all their retirement assets? Or making them, hey man, I noticed that you and your spouse not getting along that great. Here's a book that I read, 5 Love Languages or whatever. Go talk to each other. I want to see you guys work this out. That's what we do for them. And that's what I'm doing for you today. I am advocating for you because I love this business. I love NAIFA. And in the agapic fashion, I love you. So anybody who knows me knows I do a little bit of martial arts. My podcast is called the Human Kaizen Podcast because it's all about continuous human improvement. And there's another great Japanese idea, no, not Shozen, which is beginner mind because my mind's always empty, but Ikigai. Ikigai is basically the way of the world. It is where what you're doing is so important and impactful, it does not feel like work. You can reach what Chinovsky calls the state of flow. We hear all the time baseball players saying, oh, I do it for free. Well, they're not going to do it for free, but, being paid 20 million instead of 15 million is, a nice little thing. Okay. So if you look at all the different components, let's focus on what you can be paid for, because I'm a capitalist. I think we're all capitalists on this line because we want to be in business for it. Okay. And if what you get paid for actually intersects with what the world needs, that's your vocation. Okay. So I can get paid a little bit as a martial arts teacher. And, the world needs people to understand discipline and kids to like be moving around and stuff, sitting in front of their screens all day. So that's my vocation. I get paid like $5 for an hour lesson total. Okay. So it buys me 1 beer, right? But I do it. Now, what you love and what the world needs, when you overlap that, that's your mission. Okay. So I love my podcasting stuff and the world needs to hear those stories of resilience and help people out. That's my mission. So I can reach 100 million people and help them out. What you love overlapping with what you're good at, that's your passion. That's me writing, okay? And what you're good at and what you can get paid for, those overlap, that's your profession. But when they all intersect, it's what you need and what you get paid for, you can get paid really well, and what you're good at and what you love, that's where you have Ikigai. And that's the business that you love. That is what your financial services business should be, because it is awesome. It is so awesome to do this. Okay, so here's my 5-fold path, yes, taken from the Buddhist traditions, of how to achieve Ikigai, how to build that business that you love that ultimately is going to love you back in a lot of ways. And those 5 areas are practice, activity, knowledge, being a good or better person. I got a long way to go on that one, and tools and processes. So practice. I have a bunch of buddies some of them are still in the financial services world, who were professional athletes, specifically hockey players. Getting together with one this weekend for a big red freak out at RPI. And one of them told me that he practices 4 hours a day when he was in the NHL for 40 minutes a week of ice time. 4 hours a day, 40 minutes a week. Too many financial advisors, agents, planners, whatever you're calling yourself this week, say, game time is practice time. They're showing up and they're winging it with a client. Or, they're working out the details of their language while they're talking with somebody, especially if they're a relatively young advisor. No, game time is game time, practice time is practice time. I still practice my language on a regular basis. If you are within your first few years in the business or you're not yet making core of the table, I want you to put practice time into your calendar and spend time practicing every single day. If you spend 30 minutes a day, every single day for an entire year practicing something, whether it's learning to play guitar, whether it's a foreign language, whether it's martial arts or your language in this business, if you spend 30 minutes every single day, at the end of a year, that's approximately 190 hours. That is the equivalent of 9 to 5 every single day, 5 days a week for an entire month, going there and just focusing on that technique, that skill. If you had your full-time job for the next month was just sit here and practice your language every single day, how spectacular would it be? The improvements you can get are tremendous, but it's the little things. You do it consistently every single day, and in fact, your improvements will be better. Okay, and so this practice, this repetition is critical. Long before Malcolm Gladwell talked about the 10,000-hour rule, my Taekwondo master, Daniel Grant, taught me that to do a technique, you have to execute it 100 times. To understand the technique, you need to do it 1,000 times. To master a technique, you need to do it 10,000 times. Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Every single morning, I still get up and I still do the most basic technique that I learned, or stand center punch 100 times per hand each day. I'm faster than guys half my age because I've done that technique 10 million times at least, maybe even more. I don't even count. I just count at least to 100 in the morning. And 10 million times over and over again. I'm faster than people half my age, and I don't need to think about it. It's just embedded in my system. I've picked up the phone to call clients hundreds of thousands of times over the years. I can do it without thinking. I was teaching people how to get introductions earlier today. And I opened up my mouth, and it came on out as it has hundreds of thousands of other times. And 15 minutes later, I said the exact same thing. And about a half hour later, I said the exact same thing. And one of the advisors, brand new guy, is taking his test actually right now, is like, how do you do that? I'm like, do what? He's like, how do you repeat it like that? I'm like, I repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then I did so more, 10,000 times. You need to practice it. I talked about practicing it. So schedule in practice time. If you don't have practice time in your schedule every single day, do so. Because there's always something more fun to do. Just like there's always something more fun to do for your client than to put the money in the life insurance, or to set it aside into their retirement plan, or to set it in the kids' 529 plan. There's always something more exciting, like buying a shiny toy, or taking a trip, or buying a beer, or what have you. But if you allocate it into the budget right up front, it gets done. Same thing. Time is what you have that you need to allocate. You need to budget it into your time right up front and build your schedule around it so that you can get your practice in. And then after every meeting, after action debrief, hey, what did I do right here? What did I do wrong here? What could I do better? If you're doing joint work with somebody, give each other feedback. Pro athletes look at the tail of the tape after every single game to improve. My buddies in the military, I literally talked with one the other day. He had just got back from someplace that I can't tell you about. And, he's like, we came back, we had our action after debriefs, and then, we're on revelry. So after every single thing that you do, take a moment, look at it, extract your lessons, get that pearl of excellence so that you can improve. And that's how you're going to get better and better at things. And when you're good at things, you enjoy them more. And eventually you love it. You don't love anything that you're horrible at, except maybe golf. Okay, next part, activity. As my dad told me when I was first coming into the business, work half days. Any 12 hours will do. If you haven't had enough repetitions, you don't know if you like something or not like it. And the example that I use is olives. If I say olives, people are like, yes, or ugh, gross. But how do you know that? You experience it enough. If you're relatively new in the business and you're seeing 1 or 2 clients a week, you're not getting enough experience to know if you're good at this or not. You're not getting enough experience to know if you like it or not. But if you're keeping 15, 18 appointments per week, and after doing it for 6 months, you're like, this isn't for me. Well, then you really know it. You experienced it enough. But I guarantee you, if you're keeping 15 to 18 appointments per week as a new rep, and you do it for 6 months, you're going to love this business because this business is starting to love you. Next, control your calendar. Too many people are running lifestyle businesses. They don't really love what they're doing. They're making $200,000, $300,000 a year, working 20, 30 hours a week, no staff. And they're like, I don't want to grow. And the reason why they don't want to grow is because they don't want to invest in the business. They're not enjoying it. They're not loving themselves. But if they double down, instead of working, 5 hours a day, work 6, 7 hours a day. So less than a full-time job, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, they would see a doubling of their income. And they could hire staff to do the parts of their business that they don't like. And then they'd really love it. So control your calendar, work normal hours, 9 to 6, 8 to 5 every single day. I still work 70 plus hours a week. Why? Because I love what I do. And then on your 6, if you're not yet making core of the table, you need to focus on getting 6 introductions every single day. People fail out of this business or don't grow their business fast enough simply because they're not putting enough fuel on the fire. Get more introductions. It'll grow your business. And as your business grows and you make more money, guess what? You're having more fun and you're loving it. Next thing, knowledge. I mean, being an idiot is painful, or it used to be before they put warning labels on everything, but it also lets you do a better job. It lets you get into the cooler cases, because you know what? If every single case is exactly the same and you're meeting with these 2 people, they're married, 35 years old, they got 2.2 kids and a golden retriever, and they need $1.25 million of life insurance, and they need to do Roth IRAs, you know what? That gets boring and repetitive. So having more knowledge lets you find the cooler things. Ooh, this is different. Oh, I'm intellectually stimulated. This is fun. I'm loving it. Okay, both formal and informal, whether it's pursuing a degree, pursuing a designation, studying for a licensing exam, all that stuff, and informal. Wikipedia's got the facts of the day. Just look at that every day. You'll find some stuff that's interesting. Plan and schedule. Okay, if you're going to take the CFP exam, you know that you need to take it at the particular times of year when it's given, and you need to take the 5 lead-in courses. You need to do that. Have a plan, have a schedule for what you're going to do. Anybody who's not yet got their CLU, CHFC, and CFP, I suggest you start putting together a learning plan for yourself, because it's going to help your business. And as you get deeper in the business, you'll have more fun and you'll love it more. And as you dig into it, you might find something that really excites you, and it might change the direction of your business into a niche that's much more profitable and exciting. Okay, and you can have more fun. So plan it out and schedule the things and get on it. And then learning needs to be like breathing. There's the story of Socrates. A young man came to see him, said that he wanted to be a man of success. Socrates is like, walk with me, young man. And they walked down to the beach, walked down to the water. Socrates took and held his head under the water. And he's kicking and screaming and fighting. And Socrates, who's a former soldier, by the way, is holding him under the water until he's almost done and he's about dead. And he pulls him on up. And he asks him, what do you want? And the young man's like, I want to breathe. And he's like, no. Holds his head back down under the water again. Kicks, screams, pulls him back up. What do you want? Yes, I know this is sort of waterboarding. It's illegal, but he was Socrates. He could get away with it. And what do you want? Again, I want to succeed. No. Boom. Or I want to breathe. Holds him back down. Pulls him up. What do you want? I want to succeed. Exactly. And Socrates just walked off. If learning or success is like breathing, if you need it as much as oxygen, if you need introductions, if you need to see clients because that's what you do, is that important to you, that's your life because you love it, guess what? Your business is going to be flipping awesome. But man, you're going to do such great things with it, and your clients are going to love you. And it's not going to feel like working. You're going to be right in that Ikigai space of this is awesome. By the way, I can't look at chats, guys. So hopefully you don't send any chats to them. Okay, so knowledge, LUTCF, CLU, CFP at the Merida, because there's literally an endless stream of things that you can get. I mean, I got my CAP. Eventually, I'm going to get my Chartered Advisor Special Needs. I'm going to do my PhD in psychology, right? So you can keep learning and developing, and you can take this wherever you want. You can learn what's going to excite you, and that's exactly what I want you to do. Because if you're choosing it, it's also choosing you, and that is where the love comes from. Another thing, go to everydayexcellence.com. This is my website. Every single week, there's a different theme for the blog. I put up podcasts. I put up things that will help you develop in different ways. It's all about loving your life and loving yourself so that you can be the best version of you, being the advocate for your future. Okay? And, pursue something that's non-work related. I don't care if you're like trying to learn Irish or, learn to dance or to play the guitar. Having something that you're working at that's slightly difficult, that's not work related, is going to charge you up. It's going to become one of those passions, but it's also going to be cross-disciplinary in terms of how it helps your business, how it helps you love life, how it helps you recharge your energy. And by finding something beyond the walls of your office that you really enjoy working on and doing, it's going to help you get better. And you're going to see some insights from there that you can bring into your financial planning business and improve it there. And then, maybe like you're becoming a runner and you start working with more runners and you go to races with some of your clients and these things like that. And that's where the barriers are breaking down. And it's like, oh man, this is awesome. I love this. Okay. Next thing, become a good or better person. I got a long way to go on this. I feel I am a horrible human being. I feel horrible today about some of the stuff that I've done. But one thing, track your numbers. There's something called the mirror measurement effect from psychology. Anything you pay attention to is going to improve. So if you actually pay attention to the number of glasses of water that you're drinking per day, you're going to start drinking more water, which is probably better for you. If you pay attention to where you're spending your money, you track your spending for a couple of weeks, guess what? You're going to realize where you're frittering stuff away, and you're going to stop wasting so much money. What about your time, your most valuable asset? I guarantee you're frittering away tons of time, whether it's sitting there on TikTok for 15 minutes or catching, YouTube videos of cats or whatever it is. And yes, sometimes you need that to recharge and everything, but how much time are you recharging? How much time are you wasting? So track your numbers. If it's as simple as number of kept appointments per week, or as complex as the full SAM USA suite of full activity planning, I don't care. Start tracking your numbers, get a little bit better at it, and your business is going to improve. And as your business improves, guess what? You're going to love it more. Next, be accountable. I don't care if it's to a managing partner, managing director, study group member, if you're in a business builder like I run for some people, if it's just, you have a deal with your buddy that, hey, whichever one of us, if we don't do 15 introductions this week, I got to do 50 burpees. That will go a long way. And Liz and Katie, if you're on the line, yes, that's a direct shout out to you. Okay, so be accountable because you're going to push each other. Why? Because friends want to see the best for their friends. And so if you can't push yourself on those, rough days when you don't want to get out of bed, having your running partner say, dude, you promised me you were coming running, and you get out of bed and you go do something that you didn't want to do, but afterwards you feel good about. And balance, Daniel-san, must have balance. MBS, mind, body, spirit. You know what? If you're sitting there and you got cheese flowing through your veins, you're probably not feeling very good. If you're sitting there and your reticular activation system's filled with crap because you're just paying attention to negative things and listening to depressive music like The Cure and sitting there, oh, woe is me, being a grown-up goth, guess what? That's not great for you. And you're not going to love yourself, you're not going to love the world, and you're not going to love other things. So mind, body, and spirit, take time every single day to work on those in some capacity. I don't care if you listen to podcasts, I don't care if you're reading a book, the good book, whatever, get on out and take a walk for 15 minutes every morning, or go join a gym or do Tai Chi or whatever. Take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your spirit every single day, because that is going to be reflective of your business. You're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be more energetic. And as such, you're going to love your business more. And the more you love your business, the more it loves you. It's very, very synergistic. So good person part 2, serve others. As my mom, the nun, yes, my mom was a nun, always said, if you're having a bad day, go help somebody else out. Or Muhammad Ali, the greatest, said that rent or service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. Go do something for other people. Share of your bounty, whether it's time, whether it's you've got ability, write checks, help with the soup kitchen like Tom Palmieri does. Shout out to you, buddy, Tom. Work with Cub Scouts like Corey Matthews and I do. Go help other individuals out, because if you're doing that, it's like cosmic or capitalistic karma. The more you give, it's going to come back to you 1,000-fold in some way that you can't even predict right now. Okay, so serve others. It'll help make you a better person, and ultimately you'll be better for it. And also serve your profession. If you're not a NAIFA member on this call, you have now gotten enough value to pay for your NAIFA membership for the year. Join NAIFA. If you are a NAIFA member, you know what? We need volunteers. If you're in New York State, I need some people to help with the membership committee. I can't do it all on my own, much as I try. If you're in other states, volunteer to serve in some capacity. Work with your local, help with the membership committee. Go to Day on the Hill, do something to help the profession, because we've got too few people trying to carry the water for too many people, and it's going to break us. We need your help. Please help us. Show that you love us as much as we love you, and help us out. And take time for reflection and projection every day. Dr. Lori Santos, who teaches the course on happiness at Yale University, has shown through a bunch of the analysis, and she's got about a dozen studies from various psychiatrists and psychologists showing that if you have gratitude, you will be healthier and you will be more productive. If you're healthier, you feel better, self-love. If you're more productive, guess what? Your business is doing better, and it's going to love you, and you're going to love it. So take time every single day, even if it's just to be like the Cub Scouts, do a good turn every day and help somebody out, whether it's opening the door, picking up a piece of litter, or carrying an old lady's groceries, or just something little every single day to help other individuals, and think about and be grateful for it. And you're going to see tremendous growth in yourself and the direct and positive impact that has on your business. Okay, that's the NAIFA QR code. Pull out your cell phone, because I know you all have cell phones. Open up the camera and take a picture of it. If you're not a NAIFA member, I want that filled out. This is my one ask for you. Okay, it's not for me, it's for NAIFA. If you are a NAIFA member, share that with somebody. Every single NAIFA member on this call, I guarantee, knows somebody in this profession that they like and respect who's not a NAIFA member. Share that with them, because it's going to help their business. And you're being a good friend by helping them. That's a sign of love. So, tools and processes. You know what? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. There are times I don't want to go running. There's times somebody puts a donut in front of my face and I'm going to eat it, just like this morning donut. It was good. So we need to do things to help us. One, morning habit stack. Anybody who's read James Clear's Atomic Habits understands habit stacking, understanding that first you do A, then you do B, then you do C. It's like the dominoes falling. You set the dominoes up properly, they're going to fall in a good pattern. Okay, I get up, I no longer have coffee immediately. That will surprise anybody who knows me. I no longer have coffee within the first 30 to 45 minutes of waking up, because Huberman Lab analyzed it and said it's not good for you and all this. You need to wake up another way. So I go on out and I walk in the cold. Now, the other day when it's 15 degrees below zero in upstate New York with 50-mile-per-hour winds, I did not go outside. I freely admit that. But most mornings I get up and I go outside for 10, 15 minutes walking around, and in the 15-degree weather, it wakes you up real quick. Okay, then I sit down, I have my cup of coffee, and I write for about 15 minutes. Then I go do Taekwondo, then I write again, then I shower up and I go to the office, do the other stuff I have. So that's my habit stack. That's how I'm writing my next book. You need to do what works best for you. Have your habit stack when you first get up. Also, when you roll into the office, first thing that I do, I set down the computer, I go on in, I start the coffee, I fire the computer up, I take out a card and I write down the 5 most important things I need to do that day. So I'm reflecting and projecting, like I talked about, to make sure I'm moving my business forward. Then I take care of doing some marketing before I even look at emails or anything like that, because emails are always bad. Somebody saying, I don't want our deal, or there's a problem with this underwriting or whatever. It's always bad. So I take care of something productive before doing that. Have that habit stack. And habits lead to SOPs. SOPs are formalized habits for your organization. So this is our process of inputting stuff into the computer. to do the analysis. This is my standard operating process for getting a new appointment on the phone. This is my standard operating process for when I get an introduction, how I end up setting the meeting. Having SOPs means that you're not wandering around wasting energy. It means that you're not wondering what you need to do. Basically, you're reducing friction in your business. And this is one of the biggest things. People hate when stuff does not go to plan. As Hannibal says, I love it when a plan comes together. Shout out to the A-team, all old people like me. But if you are wandering around or you're not making progress, that's when you lose your drive. That's when you lose your desire. That means you no longer love and eventually you hate what you're doing. So you need to reduce friction. You need to reduce friction with your clients to make it easy to work with you because then they love working with you. And you need to reduce friction within all the things that you're doing within your business. So here's 4 ways to reduce friction. 1, have an agenda. Every single meeting that you have with a client, you should have an agenda. And on that agenda, it should include things like brainstorm for introductions so that it's easy to get the introductions and schedule next appointment so you're not playing the chase game and all that sort of stuff. So you should have that agenda. You should have 2 copies if you have paper agendas. 1 they keep, 1 they sign, you put in their file so that when you eventually get sued, you can pull out the agendas and you say, oh yes, we did talk about this in the market decline. See, there's their signature on it saying we talked about it. By the way, on that agenda, it says brainstorm for introductions. When you brainstorm for introductions, if you give them a feeder list of 5 to 7 names of individuals from their LinkedIn profile of people they know that you think you might want to get a chance to meet, guess what? They introduce you to them. If you get 5 introductions for every meeting that you had just by spending 5 minutes running a list, would you do that? It's that simple. You're reducing the friction, making it easy for them. Next, Calendly. If you don't have a Calendly link to make it easy for people to get on your schedule, get it. Integrate it with your thing. I just, people are like, yeah, I want to get on your schedule at some point, Joe, and everything. I'm like, here's an email, boom, here's my Calendly link. Get on there when it's convenient for you. And so literally, I looked at my calendar this morning and for the rest of the week, I got 2 more appointments that I did not know that I had or I didn't have yesterday because people scheduled this is my Calendly link. So if you could have 4 or 5 more appointments per week, what would that do for your business? Would it be more fun? Would you love it more if you knew that you had half of your new activity already booked? Probably. And if you love your business more and you work out more, it'll love you. Hummingbird is a great way to get other stuff. It's basically a LinkedIn program built by a financial advisor, Bruno, that automatically sends out emails to people in my target market, gets them into my network so that I can start setting up appointments with them. And there's actually a way that it sets up to schedule those appointments. So I get on average 2 or 3 new appointments per week with the exact people I want to be talking with without me having to do anything. You talk about reducing friction, awesome. You talk about loving the business. When I look at my calendar and there's all these new appointments that I didn't have to do anything for because I hate phoning so much, even better. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit here because I've been going like a meth head for a little bit, and anybody who knows me knows that that's just pretty typical. Gillian Flynn said, love makes you want to be a better man. Or it could be a woman. Love makes you want to be a better man. If you're in a relationship with somebody else, you want to be better for them. So, schedule a date night every single week. By the way, it's 1 week to Valentine's Day. Hope you're doing something. But even more important, instead of doing the big thing for Valentine's Day, 1 night a week, 1 date night a week. If you love your significant other, do that. It will help you tremendously with your business because they will be an ally as opposed to an enemy with it. They'll love your business as opposed to hating it. Okay? But also, love makes you want to be a better man. You need to love yourself. Our businesses, our relationships with others, those are all reflections of a relationship with ourselves. So you need to be comfortable in your own skin. You need to look inside and like the man or woman that you see there. You need to be able to look at the man in the glass, as the old poem goes, and be comfortable with them. If not, that's where you need to do work, because working on that will help you love yourself, and ultimately you'll build a much better business. Okay, and this all comes down to human Kaizen. There's a cool nonlinear growth curve on the front of my book and on my podcast logo for a reason. It takes time. You're not going to go from 0 to 100 overnight. Just like you're not rolling off the couch and doing a marathon the next day. You didn't put on 50 pounds during COVID overnight either. So you got to do the little things and take the time to improve, to get excellent. There is no magic pill. And you need the little wins. You know, I was coaching a guy today, and he's like, hey, I just got another appointment on the phone. I'm getting a high five. Proud of you, buddy. Because it's those little things that add up to success. And here's the big thing, streaking. I got my Fitbit, and I'm going to hit my stuff for the day. In fact, I'm actually over my steps for the day already. It's not even noon. Because I do the little things and I track it, and now I streak. I'm now on a streak of 16 days in a row of hitting my goal. Jerry Seinfeld, the phenomenal comedian, said that you need to love comedy and you need to work at comedy. He has a calendar, and every single day that he writes at least one joke, he puts an X on that calendar day. And that one day turned into 3 days, turned into 5 days, turned into 15 days. Now it's several years in a row where every single day he has written at least one joke. That's helped create his excellence because of that growth curve. But he's like, I'm not breaking that streak. I'm not going to have the goose egg. My friends who are going through sobriety, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous, that's why they have the coins of, you know, the 1 week, the 10-day, the 30-day, the 90-day, 120-day, the 6-month, the 1 year, the 28-year, like I heard somebody just got. Okay, it is that continuous. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. The most important day to sobriety, or to your training as a martial artist, or to your building your business, or to your relationship with your significant other is today. Do the right thing today. And then tomorrow, do the next right thing. And you're going to grind it. It's going to be the same thing every single day. I was meeting with a financial advisor, and he's like, okay, I sent my 10 emails. I picked up the phone 15 times. And, you know, I did these other things that you told me to do today. I'm like, great. He's like, so what do I do tomorrow? Same thing. It's like, okay, what do I do the next day? Same thing. And the next, same thing. And 3 months from now, same thing. And 6 months from then, same thing. And 5 years from now, same thing, basically. You might reduce it from like 10 emails to 7 or 5. You might reduce it from 15 calls to 5 calls, but you're going to do the same thing over and over again. The same way that every single morning, guess what? I still do that horse stance center punch that I talked about earlier, over and over and over. I know thousands of martial arts techniques. I've been training for decades and decades. I know really cool stuff, but you know what? I do the grind, the basic things over and over and over again, because that's what it takes to be excellent. That's what it takes to build something. And you get to love the certain components of the routine so that when things are not routine, you can enjoy them. And you gotta love the process. You gotta love the process of meeting new people. You gotta love the process of studying for exams, even though you might not like the exam. You gotta love helping clients out. You gotta love doing the things to be successful. If you learn to love that, and as Mike Tyson said, being a professional is about doing the things you hate as if you love them. If you learn to love the process of becoming a better financial advisor, you're going to build a business that you absolutely love, and that business is going to love you. So, love your business. Will Smith said that discipline is the strongest form of self-love. And Debasaya Merida said, if you ever want to love someone, love yourself unconditionally first. So I want you to love yourself unconditionally and have the discipline so that you can exhibit that love for everybody else. So in conclusion, 1, love is in the air. This is the best time ever to be in the business. Everybody wants your product. Literally, everybody wants to buy what you're selling. You just have to be ready to sell it. Next, have tough love with your clients and with yourself. Tough love is about bringing out the best in them. The Michelangelo phenomenon is called in coaching, where we see the potential of somebody and help them to unlock it. Have better love, work on yourself and demonstrate it more and show it. Tell the people that you love them. My dad had a car accident last week. My dad's in his mid-80s. He's getting a little unsteady. I'm a little worried about him. Actually, I'm very worried about him because he decided to have a stroke a couple months ago and decided to have a heart attack on my birthday. And, he was coming out of the driveway out in, in the middle of nowhere, Greenfield, where we lived, and some kid hit him. T-boned him, totaled the car. My dad's okay. Pissed off about his car. He ordered a new one, just like the old one. We had literally just put the remote starter in it. So he was, a little upset about that, but he's okay. But I was scared. I was scared I was going to lose my father. So you need to show that love to your clients, to your to your business partners, everybody. Show that love on a regular basis, and it will come on back to you. So follow me. I love you. Thank you for letting me share with you.
Awesome, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I have to tell you, my two top takeaways were don't be a grown-up goth. That one is priceless. That's a priceless headline for a new blog or just a whole episode. And then the other one is that SOPs are a formalized habit. Those are really two bite-sized ones to take away. We've had a lot of people say thanking you and etc. So please get Joe's book. I know my group, one of the things we've decided to do is to get his book, and we're going to do a little bit of a study group with it, right? Because in my world of marketing, this is extremely applicable. And it's
Use
not
the NAIFA code,
right?
Get the discount. Use the NAIFA code.
Discount. We got the NAIFA code to give out. And I want to just say it's always inspirational, Joe. I always feel like I'm going to have a better afternoon after I hear you talking, and I'm like, I can do better, right? Between me and me, it's between me and me here. I can do just one more call. I can make one more kind of a suggestion, etc. So we really appreciate your energy and of course your loyalty to NAIFA. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll have this on demand. Also, don't forget, Joe has other webinars we've done, so we'll send that out and cross promote those. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing you on our next Advisor Today webinar or having subscribed to one of our podcasts. So thanks so much, everyone. Take care.
Love y'all. Thank you.